What's up, Safari Nation, and welcome back to another video. It is great to see you guys, and oh boy am I excited for today's video. Today I will be talking about what I believe the best lens is for any beginner wildlife photographer. Whether you want to get into bird photography or photograph wildlife on your next safari or just photograph animals in your area, I believe that this is the lens for you. Let me just start off by saying that this video isn't sponsored at all. I'm simply just sharing my thoughts and hope that it'll add value to your decision in buying your first lens for wildlife photography. So let's get into it. There is no doubt in my mind that Canon's EF 100 to 400mm 4.5 to 5.6L Mark II ultrasonic motor lens is the best lens for you to start your wildlife photography journey with. Boy, that was a mouthful. I'll firstly mention some of the more important specs of the lens, and then I'll get into why I think it's the best lens for any beginner wildlife photographer. First of all, it's an optical zoom lens that ranges from 100 to 400mm. The f-stop comes in at 4.5 at 100mm and 5.6 at 400mm, and it only weighs 1.7 kilograms. It uses Canon's ring type ultrasonic motor for its autofocusing system. It's weather sealed and it has internal stabilization. And if you're looking for that little bit of extra reach, it even works with Canon's range of optical extenders. So what does all of this mean, and how does that help you decide on what lens to get? First of all, the zoom capability makes it a lot easier for you to compose your wildlife shots. So if your subject is standing close to you, you have the option of having that wider angled shot and still getting it in full frame. Whereas if your subject is standing further away from you, you can still zoom all the way in, making sure that you get the best possible shot. Secondly, the f-stop capabilities or aperture gives you great dynamic range. So if you want to get that shallow depth of field or blurry background look, or maybe even get your subject with most of its surroundings in focus, it's not only possible with this lens, but it's also very easy to learn and practice. Thirdly, when looking at larger lenses that one would use for wildlife photography, often the weight can get a little bit much. But coming in at 1.7 kilograms, the 100 to 400mm lens makes it a little bit easier to carry around, and it also doesn't get too uncomfortable when you use it over extended periods of time. Now, what's great about this is that it allows you to get better handheld in focus shots, and it keeps you in the field for longer, making sure that you get even greater shots of your subject. Canon is very well known for its ultrasonic motor focusing systems, or USM for short, and the ring type USM system that's found in the 100 to 400 is also found in most of Canon's other professional lenses. And the reason for this is that this system allows for greater control and gives rapid speed and accuracy when it comes to photographing wildlife. The motor is powerful enough to drive large lens groups within these large lenses very quickly and easily. And once the motor switches off, the lens still remembers the most recent focal point that you used, so it makes it easier when you try and move in between subjects. If you're going to be spending a lot of time in the field photographing wildlife, chances are you're going to come across a day or two where the weather suddenly turns bad and you get rain or dust coming your way, and having a weather sealed lens really helps for those types of situations. And that's where this bad boy comes in. Now, weather sealed doesn't mean that the lens is fully water or dust resistant. It simply means that if you do get caught in a slight bit of rain, or if the wind kicks up some dust, the lens should be able to handle it. So is a weather sealed lens absolutely necessary? No, by no means, but it leads to a little bit of surety and adds some insurance and peace of mind, and it's definitely beneficial if you're going to be spending a lot of time out in the field. The internal stabilization technology within this lens is highly detailed and very extensive, and it goes into way too much detail for this video. But what I can say is that it works, and it works wonders. Having 3 internal stabilization settings, you are always assured that you have the right setting for the right scene. So if your subject is moving, if it's moving towards you or away, or if it's a flying bird, you can get the stabilization that you need with this lens to get crisp and in focus shots. Adding an extender, or teleconverter as a lot of people call them, can be very beneficial if you want that little bit of extra reach. And what it basically does is, if you have a 1.4 extender, it means that adding that to this lens, you can multiply the focal length in millimeters by the amount of the actual extender. So at 100 millimeters, you're actually shooting at 140 millimeters, and at 400 millimeters, you're actually shooting at 560 millimeters. Now, if you use a crop sensor camera like a 70D, for example, you can multiply those totals by a further 1.6 because of the crop sensor. So to round it all off, I like Canon's 100 to 400 millimeter Mark II lens, and think it's the best option for any wildlife photography beginner because it is versatile, it's durable, it's functional, and it is affordable. How affordable? Well, on Amazon it trades for about $2,000 new and $1,700 secondhand, whereas you'll be paying at least $5,000 and up for a range of Canon's other professional lenses. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this lens, and if you've used it before, and maybe what in your opinion the best lens is for wildlife photography beginners. If you have any questions about the lens or about anything else, please leave that in the comments as well. I'd be happy to get back to you. But for now, give this video a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, click this side to see what camera I think is the best that would go with this lens, and then I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.